Just
Energy drinks. Shouldn't live with them. Can't really live without them. I know these aren't good for you, so I hear. Man, it's like the day drink to get more done with more excitement. I'm a drink goblin. I want to always have a drink in my hand. When I go to work, I have a water, I have an energy drink, and I have my coffee. Pretty much every single day. I try to cut back on energy drinks. That usually looks like buying bulk energy drink powder from Amazon and then mixing it in my water bottle so I feel like it's actually healthier. Ignorance is bliss. Maybe it is healthy. Maybe it's not. I don't know. You can tell me in the comments what your thoughts are. What do you do to energize yourself in the daytime, in public? I just love a good energy drink. But sometimes my throat gets really sore and I cannot drink them every day. Once I have drank them every day for a while, my throat will get raspy and kind of hurt. I might start breaking out. And so I'll go without them. But then I'll say, let me go to the gym. I need an energy drink to go to the gym, right? No, but it's how I feel sometimes. I want to talk about, I kind of feel like a villain in a movie. You know, they always tell you their plot, their plan before they get the chance to do it. And then it usually doesn't go well. Is that the same thing as telling you what I want to talk about before I'm actually talking about it? Anyways, I want to talk about nibbles. No, it is that time of year though. It'd be like that. I want to talk about being real. For me, being authentic and genuine and real, being real is the most beautiful and important part of our daily lives. Without that, what are we doing? Who are we? I gotta move the light. It's too bright. In a world of AI, at this point, you've probably heard about it. As my mom calls it, OW. Don't tell her I told you that. In a world of OW, always being there to help us write a script, to help us write our paper, to give us tips and tricks on how to improve something. Have you used AI? Let me tell you, ChatGPT, I'm about to start paying for one of those apps, especially in an entrepreneurial light. It is so helpful. It helps us put together a flyer. It can help us reword something in a way that our brains just wouldn't necessarily come up with on their own. It can give you a very broad and well put opinion on anything. If you have written a paper and you want to try to figure out how your teacher will grade it, you upload your paper and it'll allow you to make corrections or edits where it will point them out. I spent weeks, months really, going to ChatGPT and typing in, what do you think about the podcast name? Let's talk about it. Hey, human, make yourself moan. I always was inspired and encouraged at the, I guess I can say opinion of it because I don't know, maybe it's opinion made it. I don't know. Is AI a bunch of people? Is AI and it? I have no idea. Either way, thanks, Al, because it allowed me to ask myself questions that I wouldn't have necessarily thought to ask myself because in the moment of trying to come up with a bunch of things for the first time, we're already a little bit unsure. That's why we're going to ChatGPT in the first place, right? We're unsure about something and we want to kind of check it over with good old Al. And it really just validated what I was hoping for because I came up with it. So I believed in it and I knew I liked it for some reasons, but I wasn't really able or had yet to put those reasons into words. ChatGPT did that for me. And what I like to do is I like to copy what it tells me, the parts that I like that I don't want to forget or lose, and I'll copy and paste those into my notes section of my phone. And I have a podcast topic section. I have a episode 1 section because I'll say, all right, ChatGPT, what tag should I use for this YouTube video? And what do you think about this description? And it'll say, oh, well, some people may take that as this and it'll make them think more about this, but you kind of left out this part of your title and your description. Maybe you could say this and that would make it all encompassing. I'm telling you, I understand. It is scary. I don't trust it, but I'll use it. Kind of like an ex, you know not to trust it, but if you're single, they're single, you really shouldn't do that. You shouldn't go back to an ex, but a lot of us have. And it can also be fun and eye-opening at times. There's some exes that you kind of want to go back to at times, and then there's exes that you would probably hide if you saw them because you have given them way too much of your time. Let's be honest. The importance of being real in a fake world. I don't believe our world is fake, but a lot of us in it work really hard to be fake. And our world can make it really hard not to be fake. I don't know what's real. I got on Facebook earlier and it said Sylvester Stallone had died by some motor accident. I thought it was fake, but I wanted to make sure. So I Google because I have learned to fact check because I have shared too much fake news and my brother Gable holds me accountable. Thank goodness, because he is smart enough to fact check it himself. And he's also 10 years younger than me. And I swear, the younger you are, the easier it is to tell fake from real. So anyways, I Google, make sure he's still alive. He is. But it talked about how a few years ago, there was another death fake story that the world thought he was dead because someone said that he had prostate cancer. He didn't. He did not die then, and he's not dead today, thank the Lord, because he's an awesome person. So between fake stories of celebrities dying and all the fake articles, I keep seeing vintage photos as Marilyn Monroe on the beach. They're fake. But why? Who is out there making fake photos of Marilyn Monroe? And then fake photos of flight attendants on airplanes. The stories can be pretty cool and thought-provoking and emotional, but they're fake. So maybe the all-knowing AI, owl, if you will, the all-knowing owl wants to tell these stories. But because we have Google and people that in certain cases have lived through certain times, they can help us decipher which ones are real, which ones are fake. But let me tell you, I hope you understand fact checking is just a normal part of social scrolling now. If you're on social media, if you are on the internet, I hope you just have another window pulled up where you're fact checking. Don't believe everything you read. Don't think every photo you see is real, especially when it's about anybody that is real and still living. Because that's happening a lot where you'll see an article about so-and-so's new relationship and they're definitely not in an actual relationship. And you see photos of people doing provocative things and it's not actually them. So just don't assume that everything you see is real because it could be you in that photo one day. And karma is a what? Fill in the blank. So let's judge less in general, but also ask more questions, fact check, and for our own protection, use OWL when it is beneficial and as a tool to help us learn about something and to get fast, sexy results for a project. But also don't lose your creativity in the process. Don't just assume that if it goes through OWL, it's going to be better than something you could have created. It takes both. Like art from the beginning of time, you create something and it is magnificent. But if you are open to advice or tips or inspiration from others, going outside and painting on the sidewalk can just unblock you and open you up in a whole different way than sitting at your same easel in that same space you created for painting. You got to switch it up every now and then. You know what is real? Goats. We walked outside to find fresh baby goats this morning. 2. Their names are Gingerbread and Noel. Here's a photo. You can see why. They are the most cutest, precious little babies. Oh, this is our 3rd batch of babies, goats in a year and a half. Isn't that insane? I'm telling you, this homestead life is pretty special. You never know what you're walking out to. It's a lot of good with the gross, and of course, there is some losses at times, and that's always devastating and sad. We haven't lost a goat yet. A chicken or 2. When the world feels really chaotic around me, which is pretty often because I'm an overthinker by nature. I wake up worried I've lost a family member and I go to bed wondering if I accomplished enough and writing a list of what I want to accomplish the next day. And it's always laced with unrealistic expectations and an unreal amount of necessary time that it would take to even knock off half the things on my list. None of you can relate, right? That's not a human thing at all. Getting the blessing of a home base, because like I've mentioned before, I'm very into the nomadic lifestyle. So lived in a van for 4 years, lived in a school bus for a year, lives in a truck camper for a year. Now living in a house with several acres and a mom of 50 different animals. It's different, but it's so special because life can't just be about me and what I want. They are all reminding me that they have needs. Like it's freezing outside. And so most of the day was not only spent discovering new born baby goats, but making sure they would be warm enough tonight because it's going to be 20 degrees. So installing heat lamps and fresh hay in their dog houses, putting up tin in certain parts of their shelters to help the wind not take all their heat away. I'm doing the same thing for the chickens, filling up fresh water in the troughs. It can be a lot, but there's something beautiful about it. It's not just a lot for me because I do spend my fair share of time tending to my desires, what I want, like this podcast project of mine. I am going to stores, I am installing stuff, I'm recording, and then I'm editing, and then I'm crying because I'm tired because it took so long. The air just came on. Whether it's getting my hair done or attempting to go to the gym, those things are awesome and I love them. But the babies remind me to slow down, to not just think of myself, to walk around and to hold a baby goat and to just look at its little face and its little spots and say, you didn't ask to be here either, but you were super cute. And you're letting me hold you right now. And this is really special and I think rare depending on where and how someone lives. So if you want to hold a baby goat, let me know. We have 10 goats now and pretty sure we're going to have a few more any day. So it's goat central up in here. Back to the AI thing. I think it bothers me a lot because I'm a photographer. I love documenting moments. I've photographed weddings and birthdays and holidays and boudoir shoots. But now all these AI apps, you can basically, for $5 a month or less, upload a photo of yourself and AI will kind of dish out a whole bunch of limited amount of photos of you climbing Mount Everest and having the body of your dreams and looking like you just had 15 people do your hair and makeup, like you've been in the gym for the last 2 years. So that's fun and cool in its own right, but it's not real. And I can see people getting really into that. Snapchat ruined it years ago. It was a long time before I started seeing people's profile pictures without little stars under their eyes and bunny ears on their head. You know, that's fun. But when that's all of your profile photos and what you're sending other people to show them what you look like, and I don't know if that's how people date on these apps, but it's not real. So have fun, but be real. Find that balance. Literally everything in life requires balance. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich requires balance. Now, the balance looks different for everybody. Like more peanut butter, you like more jelly. You want a lot of both, you want a little bit of both. To each their own, but the balance is there. And to the individual, if there's more or less of what they don't want, their balance is off. Their seesaw is not seesawing. So just remember that you have a balance that you got to be tuned into, but so does everybody else. And it's supposed to look different. That's not a bad thing. If someone approaches you and their energy is different than yours, that's normal. Welcome it. Learn from it. I heard this quote and it said, assume that you have something to learn from everybody, especially your enemies. It's annoying, but I find a lot of truth in that. I had this coworker one time and they thought they knew everything. Everything they did was better than how you could do it. They were really good at making you feel really small. There's just going to be people like that in your past. And you can match that. You can grit your teeth, you can ignore them when they talk to you, you can treat them the exact same way. But if you're at work, there is a job to get done that just made going to work more miserable. What eventually did help was a lot of deep breaths and learning things like approach them believing that you have something to learn from them and don't give them more than what you need to. Let work be about work. You don't have to be friends with your coworkers, especially the rude ones. And you really can use moments like that to get to know yourself better, to trust yourself more, because you are preparing for the battle in a more strategic way. It's kind of impractical to just tell someone, just like everybody, just smile and get through it and kill meanness with kindness. Yeah, mantras can be really helpful, but sometimes they can be annoying as heck. Where now you want to not only not go to work anymore, but you want to punch that person in the face. What's the realest thing you've ever done? Think about it for a moment. We gotta feed our memories so we don't lose them. Someone asked me the other day, what is my favorite birthday memory as a kid? It was hard to remember there for a minute. I did eventually remember some. For example, when I turned 18, my name is Madison MonRoe, and I have a brother named Bramlett Presley. Once I got out of a football game, I was in the band, so I had to march and play my flute in the stands. But once the game ended, rushed back to the band hall, changed clothes, rushed to this place called Ray's Place that a lot of people in my hometown would book for special events. My parents divorced, but still planned this birthday party for me and my brother Bram. The cake, half of it was a picture of Elvis Presley, and then the other half was Marilyn Monroe, because that's who we were named after. And it was 80s themed, so we got to dress up. My dad sang Prince and performed for everyone. My mom looked fly in this crazy looking skirt. And I had friends that were a few years older than me in college, and they showed up with all their band instruments, freaking set up and put on a concert right then and there. The lead singer was Brad Savage. I just remember being a good time. So that was a good memory. To say all that, it's important to let yourself remember times that you actually want to remember. Where's it going with that? I don't know. So I am going to post this before the documentary comes out. I just want to touch on that real quick to let you know that I have no idea what the documentary is going to bring up. I mean, I know what my life has been. I know the stories I've heard from my dad my entire life and what we've all personally experienced. I've been to court hearings and I've been involved. I have prayed and prayed and prayed for life to be better. And today I would say life with my family is better than ever. Post this documentary reveal, we'll see, the truth can be scary. I hope to learn a lot about my dad and things that he has experienced in a more compassionate and compelling way than what I already know and think. So that'll be really powerful. None of us have seen a preview at all. So I'll be watching it with the world. So all my family members, we would probably attempt to do a watch party if it wasn't premiering at midnight of the 10th. So Tuesday at midnight, whatever time zone you're in. I don't work the next day, so I plan on binging it maybe. I don't know. I've thought about doing a YouTube live of myself watching it. Let me know in the comments if that's something anyone would be interested in, because I'm going to be watching it anyway. However it makes me feel and think, it's all going to be real in the moment, and I look forward to sharing that with y'all. I'm terrified, but like most things that scare us and make us nervous, it can make us excited too. So that's a really special combination, and I'm going to just lean into that. So yeah, it's almost here. I'm not going to say too much on that because I can't yet. I will be covering what my experience of watching it is, and let that just be the start of a whole other adventure. I'll pray that it's life-changing in beautiful ways. because my family has certainly gone through enough dark times that it's time for just more light and goodness and everyone experiencing forgiveness and understanding more than ever. At the end of the day, though, we're only in charge of ourselves and in control of what we say and how we publicly react. I think so many of us forget that. Let's react inwardly before we react publicly. A lot of processing, I'm sure, will be involved each step of the way. A reminder to allow people to process things is really big. I've recently heard there are passive communicators and direct communicators. Same with passive listeners or direct listeners. I'm a direct communicator and a passive listener, and my partner is the opposite. Sometimes I will say something to him and I'll say, "Come on, use your words, please respond. You're making me anxious," because he's slow at responding, but he really listened to me and he is just, loading with dial up over there about how he really wants to respond with care. And sometimes I want to multitask, so I'll be passively listening and I'm used to people not saying what they mean because I know I'll have to usually fill in the gaps for them anyway and try to make sense of what they didn't communicate fully with me, and they're only telling me half of what they want to tell me. But some people aren't like that. Some people are saying exactly what they mean, even if it's not much, and that's okay. But just like knowing what our love languages are, what our horoscopes are, and how that can just have some natural pull, cause, and effect within us, let's use those as tools. Like we can use AI as a tool to help us with a project that is really important to us. We can use the tools of knowledge of how we naturally respond or want to respond in a moment to inform others. Hey, when I do this, this is exactly what it means. Or, hey, I realize I kind of communicate in this way, but I'm thinking if I start working on this part of me, it might be better for myself and others all the way around. So I am working on that. I am aware and I'm working on it. Or when they say, hey, I just don't really like how you came at me, or I don't like how you talk to me in these ways, instead of being offended that they were just honest with you, you say, oh, that is not something I am able to see in this moment, but it's not that I think you're wrong, obviously. So thank you for telling me how you're perceiving me. I will work on paying attention to that because the last thing I want to do is hurt you or annoy you or be mean to you. If you're talking to someone, I pray the goal is to find a solution, to have a stronger relationship on the other side of this conversation. Or the solution may be that y'all need to cut ties, put new boundaries in there, distance, whatever it may be, but have a solution behind your actions. That'd be crazy. Everything is all about the tools of how it can help better our lives today, how it can help us understand yesterday better, and how it can help prepare us for the tomorrows. Think of the tools as new things to put in your tool belt. If you walk in your cleaning area, that you have a broom and you have a mop. They're meant for two different things. So the same thing with what we learn in life, the different ways we can learn to communicate with others and listen, the ways we learn to approach a problem. These are all tools that we are now able to use to carry with us into the next situation. We might not have had this bundle of tools 5 years ago in a relationship, in a job, when we were fur or human kid parents, but now you do. So don't dwell so much on how you should have, could have, would have done it differently back then. Acknowledge it, but then move forward. And now appreciate all the tools you have and just don't forget them. Admit when you've forgotten to use them and just work harder to keep them on hand in each and every given moment. Tools that I use daily are deep breaths, trying to flip the perspective that I'm looking at something, sometimes for the sake of seeing it as the other person saw it, or maybe I'm looking at it in a more negative way, and that's just not benefiting me or the people around me. So I need to find the rose. I need to find the light so I can have more light around me. Because you know that dark cloud that if we carry it around, it just gets bigger and bigger. And then the bigger it gets, the more it starts to cover other people's space. And then here we're a bunch of Debbie Downers or Karens. Crabby Karens, Debbie Downers, joking Jeffs. I don't know, that's kind of funny. Mad Madison. I spent a lot of my life being mad, and I realized how fitting it was that my name is Madison. So sometimes I've been Mad Madison, Mad Town. I work really hard to not just be mad. I'm Madison, Mad I Son. So you're not trapped to be who you've always been. And that's really sexy. Go make yourself moan. What is your favorite emotion? For me, in this moment, being super understanding, but not a pushover at the same time, makes me moan. Encouraging my partner to go get a tattoo that he's been talking about for years, and him using the appointment rather than me made me feel really special today, because in this moment, I have my grandparents. They're still alive, thank the Lord. But my partner, his grandparents are not still with us. And he's been working on this tattoo sleeve on his leg that's in honor of his grandparents. So I woke up today realizing that while I love tattoos, I'm obsessed and I have a lot that I want to get. But I've been kind of rushing that process, and it can feel meaningless, because if you're just getting things to decorate your body without a story, we only have so much skin to fill up. And he, as selfless as he is, always wants me to do for me and take the appointment and buy the thing, but he has a hard time doing that for himself. So it was good to see him go out the door, going to this tattoo appointment, and allowing himself to get excited about adding a memory to his body. I pray that with every prick of that ink needle, he feels the presence of his grandparents, because what he's doing is giving life to who they were to him, the life that they shared with him, the stories, the experiences, the cooking lessons, the stories about their favorite flowers. They helped make him into who he is, and that's very special. One day, if I get to outlive my grandparents, then I'm excited to painfully learn what memories stand out to me. I already have a tattoo of my grandparents' barn and my grandpa's tractor on my elbow, and it's one of my most favorite ones. And actually, the same guy, Timothy Elliott, that did my barn and several of my other pieces, is the one doing Eli's leg piece. He's incredible. He is going to go so far. He is the best tattoo artist I know, so skilled. And when he makes it really big and he can charge thousands and thousands of dollars for his work, I hope he doesn't forget me. And this shout out to him. Being selfless is a sexy character trait, but too much selflessness can make you become passive, almost like a stone where you're just walked over. Let yourself do things for yourself. Let yourself do things that excite you. If you want to create a podcast, freaking create the podcast. I am proof that it can be really cool, and you can do it. If you want to start going to the gym, go to the gym. If you want to learn to cook, learn to cook. Or if you want to be a better parent, be a better parent. If you want to clean house, go clean your house. We have so much available to us to accomplish things off our list. Focus on single tasking. Multitasking is a skill everyone should learn, but it is not the only way. And it is a lot of the times not the best way, because when you're multitasking, you can spread yourself thin. You can be all over the place. You can not be a good listener or a good communicator. You can start a lot of different projects and never get anything done. Maybe it's putting away your laundry or making your bed or putting your shoes up, cleaning the counter, organizing your fridge, starting that hobby, freaking loading up some information into ChatGPT. Did you know you can ask ChatGPT to help you design a morning routine or a workout plan? You could say, hey, ChatGPT, I have these 10 things I need to do today. I need to make the bed, walk the dog, clean my house, shower, organize my closet, call a family member. I'm just going to list those 6 or 7 things. What is the best order to do these things? It is this time of day, and I want to go to bed by this time. It'll give you a step-by-step checklist, routine. It'll literally lay it out for you. A lot of people pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for someone to come into their life and help time manage. ChatGPT will do it for free or for a few dollars if you want to subscribe. For the free versions, you only get a certain amount of characters, questions, time. I always use all of my time. So try it out. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Do you hate it? Did it help you do anything? It does. Like any relationship, you kind of got to learn the way to communicate the best, ask better questions. It really is decent at holding us accountable because you only get a certain amount of time on the app that's free. So you learn to pack a lot into your initial questions. If you ask a poor question or don't spell anything correctly, it might say, dude, I don't even know what you're trying to say. We should do that more to people that we talk to because the amount of terrible grammar that I come across in humans is sad. No judgment. We're not the bad kind, just kind of the thought of, really? Did you put any effort into that? If I meet you with what you gave me, what are we even doing talking? Because you obviously seem busy if you can't put together a complete sentence. And I know I'm busy. It kind of makes me feel unnecessary to respond to someone who I feel did not put much effort into whatever it is they're saying to me. Let's just try more. Let's just, believe that we will moan more in our daily lives when we are doing the things that we actually want to put effort into instead of just being on autopilot and multitasking to the point where we look around and every single thing around us is partially done. Let's go complete something today. I've completed stuff. This is about you. I have listed some of the things I've done. Thank you, watcher, listener, for giving me this space to be inspired and maybe even get to inspire you to live with more purpose. Like they say, please, if you feel led to, subscribe, follow, like, comment, because I really do genuinely want to hear what you got out of this episode. Did you use ChatGPT for the first time? What do you think about the tool analogy? What do you think about baby goats? Any and everything. I know some of you are going to hate, but I also encourage you to love because I always was told growing up that it burns more calories to frown than to smile. Is that a myth? I don't rightly know, but it kind of sounded cool, right? It made you think that you shouldn't frown. As a woman that lives in this world, I kind of think, ooh, if it burns more calories to frown, I'm always going to frown. So I don't know. That's kind of funny to think about now. All right. Live with purpose. Make yourself moan. Thanks for coming to Make Yourself Moan podcast. I'm Madison MonRoe Curtis, and I'm so excited to be on this journey myself, as well as really appreciating you for taking the time out of your special day to watch or tune in. Until next time.